Assalamu alaikum, dear audience. Welcome to another session of EN534 Environmental Law and Policy Development by Tufail Ali Zubedi. In today's class, we will discuss Self-Monitoring and Reporting by Industries Rule 2014 under the Sindh Environmental Protection Act 2014. So, without further delay, let's go through this. Dear audience, you may be aware that Section 11 of Sindh Environmental Protection Act 2014 prohibits discharge and emissions in excess of specified discharge limit standards, which we know as Sindh Environmental Quality Standards. Please revisit the definition of adverse environmental effects as defined in the Section 2 of Sindh Environmental Protection Act 2014 before continuing onwards. Standards for the time being are documented as Sindh Environmental Quality Standards or SEQS, but there exists a provision in the Act of 2014 by which the Sindh Environmental Protection Agency can establish general or specific standards such as limiting BOD levels at a receiving body such as Kinjhar Lake or discharge of NOx from 1300 cc electric cars. Section 11, Clause 2 requires that all entities, such as a person or industry, shall ensure compliance with environmental standards, shall maintain or document environmental records, shall show these records to authorized person for inspection, shall communicate the record to Sindh Environmental Protection Agency. Hence, this sets the tone for the Self-Monitoring and Reporting by Industry Rules 2014. Section 11, Clause 3 shall only be acceptable, that is, the monitoring report shall only be acceptable when it is carried out by SEPA certified environmental laboratories. Such certified environmental laboratories are, as an example, Global Environmental Laboratories, PRD Laboratories, SGS, and many such things. A list of from the Sindh Environmental Protection's website is attached for your reference. Any questions so far? Let's note down our questions so that we can have it after we are through with this presentation. Self-Monitoring and Reporting by Industry Rules 2014 starts with its introduction as Section 1, Rule 1, definitions, and puts the responsibility of reporting on industrial units for correct and timely submission of environmental monitoring report to the Sindh Environmental Protection Agency in Rule 3. This rule classifies industries into categories A, B, or C for liquid effluents and A or B for gaseous emissions. Liquid effluent industries are given in Schedule 1, while gaseous emission industries classification is given as Schedule 2. Rule 5, Category A Industrial Units. An industrial unit in Category A shall submit environmental monitoring report on monthly basis for priority parameters for liquid effluent given in Table A, Schedule 3, while an industrial unit in Category A shall submit environmental monitoring report on monthly basis for gaseous emissions given in Table B of Schedule 3. Rule 6, Category B Industrial Units. An industrial unit in Category B shall submit environmental monitoring reports on quarterly basis of priority parameters for liquid effluent given in Table A, Schedule 4, while an industrial unit in Category B shall submit environmental monitoring reports on quarterly basis for gaseous emissions in Table B, Schedule 4. Rule 7, Category C Industrial Unit. An industrial unit in Category C shall submit environmental monitoring report on biannual basis of priority parameters for liquid effluent given in Schedule 5. Hence, one can deduce that Category A, having the most frequent reporting period, would obviously comprise of heavy polluting industries, followed by Category B and then Category C. The Director General may classify a large industrial unit with a very high polluting levels as special industry. Rule 5 is applicable on such industrial unit, that is, monthly submission for liquid effluents and gaseous emissions. In addition to this, the Director General of the Sindh EPA may require such industry to report parameters at a frequency specified by himself. Rule 9 specifies the structure of the environmental monitoring report in Schedule 6 to be accompanied with Form A, B, C. However, in my experience, this is no longer valid, and every consultant submits his own format. Rule 10 specifies that samples and analysis are to be carried out in accordance with the Environmental Samples Rules 2014. Rule 11 specifies that the provision of these rules shall be in addition to the monitoring conditions laid down in an EIE approval, and Rule 12 specifies the agency shall compile, analyze, and manage the data contained in the Environmental Monitoring Report to enforce the Sindh environmental quality standards and develop environmental database for future purposes. Section 13 repeals self-monitoring and rules by industry rules 2001 to the extent of the province of Sindh. Dear audience, here comes the assignment. Compare self-monitoring and reporting by industry rules 2001 with self-monitoring and reporting by industry rules 2014.